We can't. I don't know what you're doing. I'm watching you. What could happen to you in this interrogation? What could happen to you? Okay, yeah. You could make a mistake. Could be in line. Also, how does it feel to shoot somebody?
I'm not never shot them.
This is good. If you're going to identify with somebody, even if you're not doing a scene, Jesus identified with people.
Yeah.
So let me tell you something. You're going to love people. Do I need to go through everything George went through to be able to actually connect with him emotionally?
No.
No, I can be empathetic. I can listen to him, look at his emotions, and honestly go, I see the hurt and actually really feel with it.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, you need to help us feel with you. So you could lose your job. Also, what would it mean? What would it feel like to shoot someone?
Terrible.
Not that anybody wants to do that, but let's just be honest. Murder is killing someone illegally, and justifiably defending yourself is another thing. But still, really bad. You know what I mean? You shot somebody here before. No one wants to answer that. But we've seen movies and documentaries of people that have been through a really bad time, and maybe someone had to shoot somebody and they were innocent, but it still really affected them.
Yes.
And you can draw from human beings.
Yeah.
You can draw from things you've read. You can draw from accurate movies that play a scene. That's what you do, because they're all human beings. And if it's good writing, then you can say, some people I know feel, what are some things people feel if it's a policeman and they shoot somebody, even if they're justified? It's their first shooting. What can happen?
Guiltless.
Press. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's not a normal thing for them to do.
That's
other than the fact that somebody's, shooting at you, it's a different kind of offense.
Right.
But otherwise, you are horrified.
Yes.
Yeah.
See that? And even if you had to defend yourself as a policeman, to take a life, I can't speak what it's like, but I know it's not a natural instinctual thing that God has us do.
Yeah.
What else? What would be something else?
Sadness.
Sadness, okay.
Because you think about their family.
Okay. Couple other things right now. So, now, second guess. That's enough for you right now. Horrified, emotional, sad, emotional, second guessing. That's enough right now to turn on.
I was going to say shoot him where his gun, shoot him where his hand is. Shoot the gun out of his hand. That way, you guys still alive, not shot or killed. He got shot. Why didn't
You're saying you wish he did that?
You could have shot him like in the arm or leg, and you go, oh my gosh.
Now you're watching too many westerns, bro.
Dude,
they don't want to shoot the gun. And police train, they say shoot to kill.
Yeah.
But I hear you saying. But I know I always want to be the guy in the movie. He goes boom, and he shoots the gun out of the guy's hand. Then he goes, hey, you want another one? Freeze. And you look so cool, like. Yeah. Now Mitch is his partner. And Mitch is close with him because they're partners. The guy shares his back. What do you think Mitch is feeling for his partner?
Bad.
Why?
Because it's a terrible situation.
Okay, and he's feeling for, if you're a really close friend with somebody, do you hurt when your friends hurt him?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what do you want to do? Support him?
Yeah.
You want to encourage him?
Yeah. He's got a protective streak.
Okay, all right.
Maybe even he will contemplate, how could I save him?
Yeah, and maybe
do something crossing the line.
He might even show favoritism. Sometimes we don't even know we're doing that. Have you ever had a parent say your kid's acting up? Not my kid, and it's like, oh my gosh. No, your kid does act up. Your kid is a bad kid. Your kid does do things wrong too. You ever had parents do that? Well, not my kid, not my kid. No. Yes, your kid. Everybody's kid does things wrong.
It's true.
Okay, so ready? So now you got stuff going on. So ready? And action.
Hey, buddy. You ready for this? Hey, everybody's the 19th. They're on your side. You know what you're gonna say?
Think so?
Think so. Should have talked to the rep. Wait, where is your union rep?
Yeah, but I told him I didn't need it.
You what?
I don't need it.
Everyone knows what's gonna happen. Nobody is gonna change that, okay?
Well, make sure you show remorse. Keep your head up, bud. Keep to the story you wrote in the report. You have a good record. They won't want to press charges. They'll just let you go.
You're a good friend. But sometimes I think everyone should go to prison.
Look at me right now. You need to get that thing out of your head right now. You go in like that, you're going to hang yourself.
What am I gonna do? You don't want that, then what am I gonna do?
I told you. You'll be taken care of. You already got a dozen guys who will vouch for you, me included.
I'm not talking about that, Roy, okay? How am I gonna live with this, okay?
Sam, look at my hands. These hands stop too much. You don't think I go to sleep every night thinking about that? You'd never forget what you've done. But what you can do is move on and not let it drag you down.
I shot a kid. A little innocent kid, Roy. I shot him. Does anyone get over that? Only left me too.
Yeah, I heard about that, bud. I'm really sorry to hear that.
No. Oh, Yoshi was thinking about having kids, watching them grow up, you know, having them send them to college. Then she stopped beating it up. I never gave it much thought after that.
All right, good. Sing.
Wow. That was pretty awesome.
My eyes were watering.
I gotta tell you guys.
Oh my gosh.
You really got into the decisions that you made as the characters. You really were honest. I mean,
Yeah.
there were some comments. What do you guys think? I felt like, first of all, did they seem like they knew each other well as part of that? Yeah, it seemed like that bond they created, even though they know each other as students,
Yeah.
there really was this sense of like, you guys have been through some serious and some real hard, like you're really partners.
Yeah.
That was good. What else did you see that you believed? What else was believable? in that?
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie, okay.
Yeah.
That was honest, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Anybody else?
And although
Who?
his friend was firm, he was being kind because he was trying to straighten him
Yes. He was firm but kind, but he was
Yeah.
still trying to make sure, hey dude, you're getting ready to go into something. We can't just melt
You
down
can't
here.
just- right.
He was like,
Yeah.
listen, you got
Otherwise
your
they'll
story,
hide
keep with what you wrote down. He wasn't even being dishonest, but sometimes you can get emotional and
Yeah.
unfortunately, people, just because you tell the truth every time, you got to be careful because other people are trying to pick you. You might even have a thought process where you leave something out and they'll pick it apart looking for a lie.
Yeah.
And you're not lying. It's a sad thing, but that's the way the world is.
Yeah.
So he's saying you got to stick to your story, man. You got to remember stick to what you wrote in the report. The guys all got your back.
Yes.
Now you could play either way, but it was honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Diego did a great job
Yeah.
with like not overacting and
Yes.
kind of building up. Like, you know, he was like trying to not think about it too much, and then Mitch was like bringing his attention to it, and then he started to probably play the tape, and then he was like, "Oh my gosh, I shot a kid."
That's
You
intense.
know,
That's a heavy scene.
Yeah, that was not an easy scene. It made me feel sad. You know, you felt with him like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. And I think anybody else?
Yeah, I think the loyalty and supportive nature of Mitch was really done well, and I think Diego did a great job
Yeah,
too.
he did a good
I said this, I don't know if we heard, but I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah. That's good.
It seemed very real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very moving. Very moving, guys. Great job.
Amazing.
If we take away the word, when you hear like, are you an actor or let's act? Everybody gets this puts this pressure on themselves. Like I gotta show people. But if you just take away, you're not an actor. You're an honest person.
Right.
You're being honest to the story. That's the pursuit of really telling a story. Whatever you're doing, if it's a playwright and make believe, you just want to be as honest as you can with the writer's description of the character, which takes a process, but it's really just moving ego out of the way and trying to be 100%. Try to relate, first of all, emotionally to what they're saying. Yeah. Isn't that great?
Good, yes.
Good job. Okay, so how about two more go in the same scene? I'd like to see some honesty in a different way. I'll give a little direction different. Good job. Great job, guys. Anybody want to try it? And
Come on, Carmen.
I'm going to give you a different direction, so you're not going to imitate them. You don't want to imitate them. That was awesome, bro.
That was awesome.
Anybody want to try for fun? You can be, what?
How about music?
Where is he?
Music! There he is! Come on, music! Bring it!
Take a break.
Music and George. Come on, George.
Yeah.
Go, George, go! Go, George, go! All right, you're the killer, George. You're the killer.
All right. I think the opposite. You're going to be the shooter.
Oh!
If you stay there, you know why? You're better.
Okay.
You've been around for a while. This is your first shoot, and it's pretty traumatic. All right. Now, I don't want you. Forget you watched that last scene. The worst thing someone wants to do is imitate someone else.
Yeah.
Make
it your own.
It's the worst mistake you can make. Now, Jesus, what does the Bible say? The Bible says, imitate me as I what?
Imitate Christ.
Right.
Imitate Christ. So, but no one can tell me what Christ was like as a human being. You can tell me the characteristics, but you don't know the mannerism. You don't know if he had how he walked. You don't know if he had a what did he have as a human being? You don't know his stance. How did he stand? Did he stand like this? I mean, you know what I mean? Did he have a limp? We don't know what his voice even sounded like. Was it real low? We don't know.
He didn't know what he looked like either.
Yeah.
Right. So he was an average-looking man, but we don't know his personality except we know he was kind.
Loving,
he was wise.
gentle,
he was perceptive. He was loving.
humble.
He was
honest.
he was more concerned about the person than himself.
Yeah.
But that's about it. So everybody could come and play Jesus with the same attributes, but they need to be. You can't betray your own DNA. That's right. So here's what we want to do. You ready to your Sam, bro? So, bro, you just had your first shoot. Okay? You're sitting before Eternal Affairs. What are you feeling?
I'm relaxed.
Because?
Because I feel like I might have been justified, but I'm a little anxious. Because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay. Now you know in this screen, in this scene, there was a child shot.
Yeah.
So whether the child was in the way and you didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to.
So how do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm terrified about the kid. I didn't want the kid to die.
Okay. I mean, are you terrified because you might get in trouble? Or are you terrified because
the kid died.
The kid did die.
You feel bad you killed the kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't be that relaxed, would you?
No, I'm relaxed.
You could be in shock. You could be in shock.
Oh, I was going to say I'm relaxed about the fact that I think it's going to get over, but I'm in shock about the kid because that's the missing variable.
Okay, all right. And then George, how are you feeling?
A little nervous,
Why?
my friend, because a kid has died and he's about to go under a huge scrutiny, a lot of questions, a lot of doubt, even from the police department.
Okay. How do you feel about the Eternal Affairs? Now, this is just your own decision as an actor. It's not personal. You can make it either way. This is the fun thing about an actor. Now, what's your opinion as the character about Eternal Affairs? This is the fun part.
Scared.
Why?
Because they find me in the wrong, I'm going to jail.
Okay.
That's my job.
Do you have to feel like you have to have your guard up with them? You feel like you can trust them?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because they'll try to trick me up and use what I say against me.
Okay, so are you concerned about him on this one?
Oh,
it's real
absolutely.
tricky. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, okay. So come in like you're walking into him. And now you don't have to stay seated, but if you walk around, make sure you're in the group. Let me move these. Because I want you to show I want you to be very concerned for him. you're really worried he's gonna blow it.
Okay.
So you could be even walking around, just, and then if there's gotta be a time where you gotta jack him up.
Okay.
Like, don't do it like something, he can be fed, but you gotta say, listen, like you see he's feeling it, but you gotta pick a time where you gotta go, listen to me, you need to snap out to it and get focused. I know what happens terrible, but you're getting ready to go in and this could totally be the next part of your life. This next 10 minutes could either make or break you. You need to snap out of it and get focused, but I need you to pick in your own way when you need to do that, all right?
Okay.
All right, so whenever you're ready.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
You know, everybody at the 19th, they're on your side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You know what you're going to say?
I think so.
Where's the union?
The union, I told him I don't need him.
You what?
Yeah, I don't need him. Everyone knows what's gonna happen. Nothing I can say, nothing he's gonna say is gonna change that. So, I don't think I need him.
Look, I think that's a big mistake. But you just gotta make sure you show remorse. Keep your head up. Keep to the story you wrote in the report.
Okay, stop right there. Let's try something. That's good. Back up a few lines. I want to walk up and go, what do you say? Where's your rep?
Union rep.
What's the union rep?
Where's the union rep? Okay, when you say that, where's your union rep? Look around like you're shocked. Where's your union rep? And when he says that, I want you to look around again because you're suspicious. You don't want no one hearing you. Because, this is, not that you done anything wrong, but you're just like, you realize people don't, you got to watch every word because they're going to twist it. All right? So you're going to be going, where's your union rep? And then when he says, don't want a union rep, I need you to sit next to him, take a moment, and look at him. And then tell him you don't agree with it and say, listen, and then you need to listen to it if you need even add a word. And then now get dead serious, like the next lines you're telling him about, you need to think what you're saying and you need to really get focused, you know what I mean? But when he says, I don't need one, I want you to react like almost yell and then catch yourself. Like you're shocked. You what? Think about someone that does something crazy.
Okay.
And like this, you just barely got on the force, kid. You're what are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, try that.
Okay.
Come on, kid.
You got a kid?
Feed him the line before, where's your rep?
You know what you're going to say?
I think so.
Good.
Where's your union rep?
I told him I don't need him.
What's wrong with you? What do you mean you don't need him?
I don't need him. Everyone knows what's gonna happen. Nothing he's gonna say is gonna change that.
Are you kidding me? Look, just make sure you know you show remorse. Keep your head up. Keep to the story that you wrote on the report. You have a good record. Still they won't press charges. They'll just have to let you go.
Sometimes I feel like I should go to prison.
You need to get that out of your head right now. You go in there with thinking that way, you're just going to hang yourself. You'll lose everything.
What am I gonna do?
I told you.
Good.
You'll be taken care of. You already got a dozen guys who will vouch for you.
Man, I'm not talking about that. How am I gonna live with this?
I'm not talking about that, Roy. Oh, sorry. Listen, let me explain something to you. Look at me. See these two hands? I shot two men in my time. You don't ever forget that moment. But did you learn to deal with it and move on?
I shot a kid, Roy. An innocent kid. How does anyone get over that?
Yeah.
Darlene left me.
Yeah, I heard it. I'm really sorry.
All year she's been hinting around about having kids. And then she stopped bringing it up. And I never gave it much thought. But now that's all I think about. And how am I gonna bring in a child in this world? I can't even look at a kid. I can't look at another kid's face without seeing his face.
Sam, maybe you should see someone.
Good. That was awesome, man. Wow, that's some heavy material, guys. You did a great job.
Wow, good job. Fun
Once you
music.
guys
Go
settled
George.
down and took your time, the moments were amazing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
incredible because you really didn't even know. Who knows how to answer what he just asked you, and you took a pause. You're like, his wife left him, and then how did he even do that? You
Right.
said that pause was great because who does know how to answer that? It's like you all you can say is maybe you should say something. Because how do we handle that?
Yeah.
Wow, that was good. You showed empathy and
That was
stress
great.
and all those things that we don't like feeling, but it's honest when we're in those situations. So good job. Good job.
That was great.
All right. So
All right.
what you just saw there was a scene, but there was a lot going on that was believable. There was empathy. There was seeking to understand. There was support and encouragement.
Yeah.
There was believing in him. Are those things important
Yeah.
for each other?
Yeah.
You need to be
Absolutely.
believed in,
Yes.
and you may not have all the answers. In fact, you won't have the answers. In fact, it might be the very worst thing to do is give someone an answer when you're not even sure how to fix it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
But sometimes we feel like we want to fix it.
Right.
Who feels like sometimes, who answers, I do this sometimes, and I realize it's not what they needed. Sometimes guys are a little bit more, but all of us can. Who?
I'm a fixer.
Okay, what is that? How does it turn out sometimes when you mean well, but it didn't work out? What happens?
For me,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't work out well. It strains the relationship
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Why?
because, me, the person, I have to realize I can't fix everything. I can encourage and support them, but I can't fix it all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So the very thing you want to try to do, you mean well, but it can backfire.
Yeah,
Then you
that's
feel
right.
bad too, because it wasn't like you were trying to do it wrong. You were really trying to help. What are you gonna say, Mitch?
Yeah. You actually kind of hit on it with backfiring. Because then it comes off as you. I know when I did it, it came off as the other person saw it as me trying to muscle in and fix a problem that it's like, look, it's not your job to fix it, it's mine. And I'll deal with it. Now back off. It's like, that's just like Julie was saying about not how she meant it to happen.
Wow.
Same thing.
Okay. So let's talk about wisdom tonight. This is going to kind of fall into what we're talking
Come on,
about
Chris.
because wisdom's not. What is wisdom? What the word wisdom comes? What comes to mind? Give me some thoughts when you hear just wisdom. What's that mean?
Gray hair.
It's a choice that builds either a person up or a situation.
Okay, it's a choice that builds a situation or someone up. So positively affects it.
Using knowledge wisely.
Okay, using knowledge wisely. Okay,
Having all the answers.
having all the answers.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Wisdom?
Sorry, Diego.
Experience.
Okay, experience. Okay.
That's good.
Let me ask you this. Is truth and wisdom the same thing?
No.
Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference? Yeah.
Well, truth is solving a math problem. Wisdom is being a human being and helping another human being. It's totally different.
Okay, so if an heir, give me go ahead, music.
So I want to like this, because I like this example. I just like how you put it. Like, basically, like you said, to go deep on what he just said, truth is simple, just like the natural matter of the fact about things. Like sometimes I even think of just when it's in relation to God, what God say is just truth. You know what I mean? And sometimes in His laws, like the way He commanded the earth, meaning like He said, a mathematical problem. That's just truth. But wisdom will be how we deal with that truth.
That's good. Hear that? How you deal with the truth. The truth is the truth. So I would think of this: a airplane coming in for a landing. Their approach could be that the traffic controller could give direction on the approach differently depending on the weather, but the truth would be they're bringing them into the same runway. The same runway, but they're going to give possible different information. But the truth is you need to land the plane on the runway, but they may say you got to go up and around and come in the other way. There's a headwind, or you need to wait out for a minute. We're having an issue with winds. Or they may need, you know what I mean? So the wisdom has to be, wisdom has a lot to do with observation, being aware of the situation at hand, which would mean if we're into people, what would you want to be aware of? Yes, Dave.
I was going to say, you can tell the truth. Wisdom has nothing to do with the truth. You can tell the truth with no wisdom behind it. I'm telling you the truth right now. I didn't say I had any wisdom, I'm just telling you the truth.
Okay. All right, so telling someone the truth without wisdom, can that necessarily help people?
Not really, not all.
At times, it can hurt people.
Yeah, you can do both.
The truth can hurt people.
Yep.
Yes.
I think it has to do with like if you want to be able to be wise, you have to know the, I guess, not social norm or culture, but I guess both the social norm and culture. You know what I mean? Understanding how the people that you communicate with, I guess, think, or else you could be like just coming up the sideways.
Right. Okay. Chad?
Well, it's like another tool, right? So if the truth is a screwdriver, wisdom is a hammer, and it's used for a different thing. To nail down something.
Okay.
A lot of times, you need to know the environment. You need to know someone's maturity level.
There you go.
You need to know, do they trust you?
Wow.
You need to know everything else except the truth to help make a choice.
So you've got to draw them out and seek to understand them before you even lay the truth on them.
Yep.
Think about this. The look in Proverbs 1, because this is very interesting, because it's going to tell us what wisdom's for. And it says here in Proverbs 1, verse 1, and by the way, I'm not going to go there today, but the Bible's very famous. In one line it says, in John chapter 1, it says, Jesus came full of grace and truth. So I would beckon to say, and I'm not trying to change the Bible, but I think grace has a lot to do with wisdom in it.
Yes.
Because grace is the person fell short of being able to do the truth or live out the truth. So now grace is a pass, is a forgiveness, a understanding, but also there has to be wisdom in that understanding to help the person not do it over and over just because they get a free get out of jail card, right?
Right.
You want to help them understand how could you benefit next time if this comes up, but you don't have to hang on to the baggage. It's all okay. It's all right. It's like it never happened.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So look in Proverbs 1. It says in verse 2. It says in verse 1. Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair. I mean, right there, those two verses are chock full of what wisdom has to do with. It's really a balancing act. For giving prudence to those who are simple, and knowledge and discretion to the young. What's that mean? Given prudence. What's prudence mean?
Discernment.
Okay. Cautiousness. Helping people think through. Don't be impulsive.
Yeah.
Discernment is don't be impulsive. A lot of times, especially all people, but a lot of times younger people just like they make a decision without stopping and thinking about it.
That's right.
And I think all of us need to really listen to that, myself included. I realize I do way better on not making a rash decision, especially when it involves people or it's a financial or something that could affect me badly if I don't make the right, if I don't really honestly think through this.
Yes.
It's better to be cautious, which is not afraid, but so it says, I want to give you prudence to the simple. What do they mean by simple?
Those who are not wise.
Yes, it means, in the Greek, it really means, or the Hebrew word is without moral direction, inclined to evil. So try to give the person, try to help the person think about their choices. You can't control anybody, but you want to try to draw them out and go, think about what you're going to do. Let me help you stop and let's bat this thing around a little bit.
Yes.
What's going to happen here? Because you're talking to someone that possibly has made bad choices, and you're afraid, you don't want them to make it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something simple, something easy to understand.
Okay, easy to understand. And then it says, and knowledge and discretion to the young. What does discretion mean?
I think it's the ability to choose between good, better, and best.
Okay, let me ask. That's good. Okay, so let's talk about this in a person. Let's just say, for an example, Mitch has a question or he has a conflict with someone, a teacher, a person, a friend, a roommate. He comes to somebody and says, he comes to somebody that he can trust. He doesn't use the name, but he goes, you know what, this is what's going on between me and this person. And this person is wrong in this situation. And then you explain it, the person even goes, yeah, that was wrong what they did, but you did hurt their feelings. So the person maybe gives their opinion, but then they say the last thing. Listen, when you go back and approach this person, use discretion.
That's right.
Use discretion. So now replace it with what you said. What did you just say?
It's the ability to distinguish between good, better, and best.
So when you go back to this person, really think about what is the way to approach and speak. What is the best way to speak?
Right.
To this person. Be aware of what they're doing. Own where you hurt them.
Yes.
First thing to do is repair the damage from their point of view. Don't worry about being right now about the other thing. Get the person to understand because you agree you hurt them.
That's
so
right.
really acknowledge that. Use discretion. It says here, behaving or speaking in such a way to avoid causing an offense or revealing private information.
Wow.
So you're going to go back with so look what wisdom gives you. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
You can be the most intelligent, successful person and not be wise.
Yes.
Because if you're paying people and you have power and money, you can run people over. They're still going to show up with tire marks on them because they need their check.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Some people will, what can you do? Be in the street? You're going to be abused for money. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. Let's just be honest. It'd be foolish if you quit your job just because the boss was a raging mean. You can start looking for a job, but it wouldn't be wise if you had a family. Just go, I quit.
Right.
You're going to have to endure.
Use your wisdom.
You have to trust God and endure, right?
Use your discretion.
But look what the Bible says here. Now let's look at verse 5. Let's look at verse 5. It says, let the wise listen and add to their learning. So now it says something about wisdom and wise people. What do they need to do well?
They're constantly learning.
Yes. And listening.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, please.
I can tell you that's something I've even said publicly. I need to try to make sure there's certain areas to talk less and be quiet and don't worry about what people think. People say, what's wrong? I'm going to say nothing. Because I'm going to talk less in groups. And sometimes people I think I'm going to, and I'm just saying nothing. It's something I just don't have anything to say right now. I'm fine. I'm fired up, but I really don't want to speak more than I have to because I realize more words usually do damage. And the Bible says with many words are sin.
You can
Sometimes it's
say
just
I'm
better
listening
to listen
and learning.
Yeah.
and not say anything, and
Yeah.
then when the time comes, then you will have the wisdom or the right words to say
Yep.
to add positive.
That's good. That's good. Really listen and not be concerned about fixing it, but just if you really listen, it'll come to you.
There's an old saying, it's better than putting your foot in your mouth.
Yes, and we've all done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love this verse. So I once heard this verse in context to Mandela, on Nelson Mandela. They said that Nelson Mandela was a man that whenever he was around people, he always was the last person to speak. And at first they thought he was just being rude, but they realized he was just listening to everybody. So when he did speak, he only had to say very, very little, but it was addressing to everybody's issue because he said that.
Okay, that's good. Because so let me ask you this.
Come on,
so,
Nelson.
So look at this. It says, "Let the wise listen." So you're going to get more wisdom also listening.
That's
Yeah.
And it also says you're going to be able to. This says you're going to be able to give instruction to people. You're going to learn how to instruct people. You're going to learn how to help people do what's right. You're going to learn how to speak to people. You're going to have discretion, and you're going to be thinking through what's the temperament. You're going to learn to read people and understand this might not even be the right time to bring it up, because emotions, whether they're right or wrong, if they're strong, even if you're completely right, it may not be the right time.
Yes.
So timing's even an issue. Sometimes we just go, I got to get it out. No, it's not about you.
Timing is wisdom.
It's about what's best, like
That's
Sonia
right.
said. That's hard sometimes. Now let's keep reading. It says here. It says at the end of verse 5, and let the discerning get guidance for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings of the riddles of the wise. Now here where it sums up: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So the fool actually in Hebrew makes more of an inclination to morally deficient, biblically morally sufficient. So
Deficient,
there's a lot of fools in the world today. Now we should not say that. I don't mean that like you don't want to go in there and go, you're all fools.
Oh!
But the Bible says it. We just need to be able to carry the message of love and share how foolish we were
Yes.
when we talk to people, because that's our message. Our message is about trying to point things out on other people. Our message is going, we realized how foolish we were.
Amen.
Until the message of the cross and understanding of Jesus changed me. See what I'm saying? So you call yourself a fool, and then hopefully if they're looking for the message, they'll go, wow, I can relate to that. Doesn't that make sense?
That's right.
That's the wise approach.
So, but it says
on,
they
wise man.
despise wisdom and instruction. I don't think anybody in their right mind, if you went up with a microphone and said, we're taking a little tally today, do you despise wisdom and knowledge? I think everybody would say, of course not. I value knowledge and wisdom. But they don't even understand, and neither did we at one time, really what we were saying when it's with God.
That's right.
Exactly.
Think about this. Look in James 3.
Come on, Chris. This is awesome. Get wisdom.
I love how the Bible says that, the Word of God is living and active, right? And I love how the Bible says stay in step with the Spirit. That means learn to dance with God, so to speak. Learn, it's like a martial artist. You never arrive. That's what's so exciting about God. You always have the instructor there he's not gonna hit you too hard, and he's not gonna hurt you, but he's gonna challenge you. That's God in a certain way.
Yeah.
He wants you to be he wants you to rise up to the next maturity level of belt.
Yeah.
That's what it really means in black belts. When you move up, you get to the next maturity level in the art.
Come on.
With the Spirit of God and walking with God, we never arrive, we don't compare, but we're all striving to be a very effective person that needs God as much as the most lost person still.
Yeah.
But because of God's guidance, we're being more effective and useful to the master, so to speak.
Yes.
Now, if you look at in verse 13, Gary, can you read 13 through 18, please? Of chapter 3 of James.
Sure. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show it by his good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come. Such wisdom does not come down from heaven, but is earthly, unspiritual, of the devil. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you find disorder and every evil practice.
Wow.
And then through 18.
I'm sorry. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, then peace-loving, considerate, submissive, and full of mercy, and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow peace raise a harvest of righteousness.
Amen.
Okay, so there's two contrasts here. And the first thing they start off with, and I love God, in Christ, as Christ walked, but also God's Word.
Yeah.
If you really read the Bible, God tells us a lot of things about Him. But He poses it in so many ways as almost questions.
Yeah.
For us not to compare or evaluate other people, it's for your own good. That's the first step we read in Proverbs 1.
Yeah.
You know, it's for you to listen and gain wisdom and discernment, and for you to grow in these things. It's not for you to go tell people how to do things, but when you grow, the right heart will be behind it when you do approach somebody. See, wisdom from God, it says there's got to be a motive. You don't just go and correct people just to correct people. If you don't care about that person and you're not humble and concerned for their relationship with God, then you, even if you see it's wrong, you're not the right person to say it because it's coming wrong. There's a wrong motive.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because no one's to judge, but we're to correct. We are to correct we're to love, and if it's out of love that you correct, or you have a strong talk, then it's good.
Yes.
Because you're not making a judgment. You're carefully approaching the person with discretion, because you want them to, you want to see their error, but you want to help them come to the conclusion that it's not wise for them to keep doing this.
That's
Yes.
It's not your load.
Right.
Come on.
But it says, who is wise and understanding? Wow, that gets my attention right now. Because I think all of us kind of go, well, I'd like to find out if I fit in that category. Who among you is wise and understanding? And God knows we're human beings, so He breaks it down. First powerful question. The answer's right there. Let him show it by his good behavior and deeds and gentleness and wisdom. I would say there's a saying that matches up that we use in CR, chemical recovery. I'm not going to listen to what you say. I'm going to listen to what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Now think about that. What does that mean by saying that? What are you saying when you say that?
Show by your behavior that you've changed, not with your words.
Right.
Yeah, actions speak louder than
Actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, people who I've noticed struggle with addictions like alcohol or drugs. A lot of times they're in the streets and they've got these amazing stories, and you know what I'm saying, like you can't really believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
You really can't, because when you trust them, give them the benefit of the doubt. Over and over, it gets revealed that they were lying to you.
Okay. Yes.
People, so that's really important when I make a CR. But all of us really,
Right.
at some level.
Right.
You know, like we might have really good intentions and think really highly of ourselves because we have really good intentions. But how often do we really actually live that way or put it in practice?
Okay, so this is really good. There's a very important thing. Go ahead, honey.
Good intentions pave the road to hell.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's bringing it strong. Come on.
Come on.
But listen. This is very important.
Just
The
saying.
reason it comes from CR, and what I mean by CR in our ministries, we have what when it's needed, chemical recovery, which we can start one here too. I've been through it and I've been trained to teach it. And it's really for people that come into the church, that become Christians, that have repented of their drug and alcohol use, but possibly still are prone to struggle with it.
Yeah.
So it's really for disciples. It's not just for anybody to come. So they got to want to be a Christian. It's not just curing them of alcohol. but they need a support group, okay? And you do journaling, like Gary was saying. It's very important they do a journal, is because sometimes they're so deceived that they don't realize that they have to look at their past. Because lots of times people that have been drug addicts and alcoholics come in, and when they get a little cleaned up, they keep talking too much.
Yes.
And what they do is tell everybody what they're going to do, what they've done, and they make all these promises, and you don't want to hurt their feelings. They mean well, but they don't understand that they've let people down over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not like we're trying to rub it in their face, but they've got to look hard at their life.
Yeah.
And it's not to punish them, it's to let them get a sober estimate that, bro, I'm not going to listen to what you say, I'm going to listen to what you do. And what that does to the person is it makes everybody realize time is the proven factor.
Yes.
And then you can get mad and defensive and say, you don't trust me? No, bro. That's not it. All of us have to do that. Whatever your seat is at the table, you know what I mean by that word? Every single day you have a seat at a table, and you have different seats at tables. Meaning, when you go to work, you have to figure out what is your seat at the table in your employment office. Like for instance, when you go to work, you know what I'm talking about? Like, where do you sit? What's your seat at the table? Who's got the main seat at the table at your work? Like, who's the
boss?
The manager.
Okay, so you actually understand who you are in at that table. It's very important, because if you don't understand who you are and you're speaking up above, you're going to irritate people, and you're going to annoy people, and you're going to maybe get fired.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because even if you do know things, it might not be your place to say it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it takes time.
Right.
You know what Sonia's parents said when they first found out I was getting married, she was getting married to me? Is he a Yankee? And what that meant was, oh no, if he's American, are we going to see you again? And that's what they were concerned about, the pain of realizing if she's marrying me, are they going to live in America? Because they live in South Africa. So they weren't mad at me, but they're like, you know, and that was the beginning. And then when I first met them, nothing personal, but when I first met them, after we spent time, she sent a letter back and said, hey, it was great to have her, but he would tell Mr. Chris that he's going to call us either Mom and Dad or Mr. and Mrs. Pedersen. And I was calling them Norm and Marlene. That's the cottage cheese. Norm, how you doing? Marlene, this is a really good joke. And what I realized is, you know, I was 33. But I realized then this is discretion here, guys. At first, when I heard that, I go, wow, they're telling me what I get to call them? And then I had to learn discretion and realize the culture from English and that culture into South Africa comes from like the Queen, and there was a culture in that there's respect that maybe didn't mean I was being disrespectful, but to them that's the way the culture was.
That's right.
You either said Mr. and Mrs., or when you got married you called them Mom and Dad. What would have been wise for me to keep arguing with her and explaining, I'm American, we don't do that here. Marlene, how would that benefit Sonia or them and my relationship? Would that benefit?
No.
So would it be wise to be humble and be gracious?
Wouldn't be considerate.
And get used to saying
or submissive.
Mom? So then, as the years went by, I became more of a hero in their eyes. Why? 24 years married.
Awesome.
Because no, Mom and Dad. She was still having one eye cocked at me, especially when I go, "How you doing?" She's like, "How you doing? What are you doing?" But even though I said Mom, she was fired up about that. But she didn't know me from Adam. 1 year goes by, 5 years go by, 10 years go by. Why do you think they like me more?
Because you adhere to what their ways of living and how they behave.
And does the time being married and them seeing their daughter happy with children, you think that mattered at all?
Yeah.
Didn't have nothing to do with me except the fact that this dude is loyal to my daughter.
Yeah.
So I became more awesome in their eyes as the years go. I can do no wrong now.
Come on, Mr. Incredible.
24 years, they see her still smiling and happy. I'm their kid. I'm their boy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about when I say I'm not going to listen to what you say. I'm going to listen to what you do. So I got married to them. In their minds, they're like, I hope it works out. But they probably also, like any parent goes, I hope it works out. But you're like, I hope, I've seen so many problems that don't work out. Doesn't it hurt when your parent, if you have people you love, you know?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, they watched what I did. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just using that as an example. So what I'm trying to say is there's no quick fixes.
Right.
There's no quick fixes for showing the world that you're wise.
Right.
And sometimes we want to jump in, and sometimes you will know more than the person that's over you. But it doesn't. Does it help to push that?
No.
Why?
Come on,
Because
Chad.
they can become insecure, or a lot of people are prideful and they only want the answers that help support their ego. And if you're pointing out a gap or something they haven't thought of, then it's a threat.
Okay. So
Come on,
let me
Chad.
ask you guys something about authority. Has anybody in here ever had a boss or a manager over them, and just try not to be prideful, but be honest, that you possibly were more capable than them, but they had the rank? Has anybody ever been in any kind of position like that? Yes.
Janitor for 24 years. They knew nothing. Absolutely nothing. I did everything. We went up with their bosses. One of their bosses and got in touch with OSHA about my problem. They say I got my key for safety and anything. They got a 2-page write-up about promotion. It said this thing corrected in 5 days. We're going to send OSHA agent down to correct the problem.
Okay, how did you feel about that?
I feel awesome.
What about, I was, what you guys know, in between the ministry, I was selling cars.
Yep.
I learned a huge thing about wisdom.
Come on.
It was humble. I relearned, it was a course in humility again. I went into the Nissan Sutherland, and it was God's grace because of a friend of mine that worked 15 years in the industry, knew the owner, got me the interview because it's a fast-selling dealership and they don't just take anybody. And he even said, it's going to be fast. And I said, I got no choice right now. Costco won't even hire me for a tire change.
Oh.
But so I went in, but I had men that were half my age, that were 20s and maybe early 30s that were my managers.
Yep.
That in life I was way ahead of them. It didn't matter. The worst thing I could have done, they were already looking at my gray hair and an older man. I'm sure they already had, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare. Because that's what a lot of people, they think the older guy's going to be tough and tell them what to do and all that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And all I could do when I finally said, it's like, and then I didn't, and then all I could do because they knew more than me. I had to study and pass the test in a certain time on every car.
Yep.
I had to do it at night. She saw me. I'd come home after dying and sweat and coming home. And then I had to be always early, and when I had to go get the car, I had to hustle. And I had to hustle and be humble and polite and seek to ask and thank everybody and be just a green pea. That's what they called new guys, green peas. So how does a 55-year-old guy that's been in the military and done a lot of things, how do you think I like to be referred to as a green pea? In my flesh. Think I love that?
No.
I want to write green pea on my forehead.
You could have got a tattoo.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying in my flesh, it was not easy.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, even though I've been through things like this in different areas, because when you get older, you're going to either learn or keep going through it. It didn't make it easy again. It was very painful.
Yeah.
Not just that, the whole process. But what I really learned is I said, who's wise among you? I said, this is where I learned discretion. What will the outcome be if I respond or do this or that?
That's right.
And I realized the worst thing I could do is try to tell them I know or do anything but just be humble and hustle.
Right.
And not be late.
A really good term is play the tape. Like when you're faced with a
Yes.
situation, there's a reason God says be slow to speak. Because we're supposed to think and play the tape. Like, if I do this, this will happen.
Yeah.
If I do that, this will happen. And if you
Future.
play the tape and you figure out what the consequences are, you're going to have a better time being wise.
That's good. You guys understand that, right? That analogy?
Yeah, like chest.
Yeah.
Okay, chess, yes.
Come
yes,
on.
Yes. Can we
right,
look at
we
this?
challenge
I want to look at this.
Yeah.
So let you show by your good deeds and gentleness. So you got to be around a little while.
Come on.
This can go with also being a Christian. Because when you come into a church or you become a Christian, it doesn't mean that God says right away you're valuable and you're unique and you're very needed. and everybody has things going on. But you got to come in, and everybody realizes it's God that works, but there's going to be an order, and you got to really come in. And the best thing you can do is be a team player, and go and not try to scrutinize or be critical with your heart.
Right.
You can have a discernment of going, how can I help? But it's easy just to cut someone down and go, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
Why don't you do this one? Versus, hey, bro, can I help you out here? But it's because it's easy for anybody to one up somebody.
Yeah.
But to keep unity, it's very fragile.
Yes.
I love what you're saying. Like, I really love the example of how you're in a car dealership and you have to really humble yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I've been in the kingdom for over 30 years.
Come on, Gary.
Many, many times I felt like people were discipling me that I felt like they don't even know anything about the Bible, or they have no how. You know, you wonder why was that person put there? But you just trust God.
Yeah.
That God put that person there in your life. You know, no, and even when I came back, you know, I mean, I left. I was stupid. I was foolish. I came back, and I remember they said something along the lines of, it seemed like Devon was going to disciple me, and he's a new Christian. Well, he's not a new Christian, but he's newer. And I told him all this already, so just so you know. And I kind of felt a little tinge there, like, okay, why is he doing this? You know? Well, I thought, okay, I'm just going to love him and just trust God. And then, you know, I started seeing God in Devon.
Yes.
And I started really, and then a couple times he went to bat with me. Like I saw I was like misunderstood. And he like protected me, stood up for me.
That's good.
And I thought, wow, that was God. But then now I'm being discipled by a Chad.
Oh, come on,
really
it's the wise
I
guy
appreciate
and the
it.
wise girl.
Yeah, and they,
wise
you know,
man and the
they've been
wise
around a lot
man.
longer and more experienced. But it doesn't really matter who's in your
Right,
life.
right.
We have to always be humble, like you said you were at the dealership.
Right.
You couldn't have done that if you weren't in the kingdom of God.
Come on.
Things change around all the time in God's kingdom.
Because, and what
So
you're saying
true.
is very
Come on,
awesome.
Gary.
You said it's because of God. This is the whole key, what we read at the beginning when it says, in verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and knowledge. So God is, you understand, when you enter into a relationship with God, God allows or causes everything.
That's right.
So sometimes He'll put you in a position with someone that you may think annoys you or does annoy you or is incompetent.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on that, God's allowed that. You're not learning. Any fool can pick out the obvious problem.
Right.
You got to go, why am I in this? And maybe you're in this to help that person by not showing him you're leading, but by supporting them, encouraging. Classic example, we're trying to evangelize the world, and I'm kind of editing this because we're all disciples here, there's no visitors.
Come on.
When we try to evangelize the world, we have to raise people up, right? We need more leaders.
Yes.
How do you become a leader without giving a shot? Is anybody really ready to lead like Jesus? No. You need to be tested and proven. You need to be able to be in conflict with men and resolve without leaving.
Yeah.
You need to prove that you can submit to authority. But then when you get into the church classic thing a church can do is they can be cranky or critical of a young leader that does make foolish decisions.
Yes.
Right.
Instead of realizing that they need to submit to the authority of Christ, and they're there to disciple the leader, the church, and the leader's there to be used by God to disciple the church.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, but it's not you to go and make the young man feel insecure because he's already trying to overcome that.
Or the old man.
Or versus encouragement. Yeah, or anybody in a position, not his leader, anybody in any position. You want to try to make that person feel you love them, you're supporting them, and then when it's time, you'll be able to say, as time comes, to see that you really care about them. You're not just ready to cut the legs out. You love
That's
them.
right.
Then when the conversation needs to happen, they're going to hear it because they know you're with them no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's how Jesus is.
Right.
And it says here, and if you look in the scripture, if you're coming for a landing,
Come on, Chris.
if you look in 17, wisdom from above
I love that.
is pure.
Yeah. No ulterior motive.
Yes, the motive needs to be like the Lord's.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the pure, and then you see peace loving. You've got to bring the peace in with the loving.
Yeah, that's right.
If you just comfort somebody and not tell them the truth, you're hurting them. This is an interesting thing, because even Gary said this, that Devon, who's awesome, we know him.
He's awesome. I love
He
him.
actually spoke up a little bit, because it says in Proverbs 1, wisdom is for the prudent, to give prudence to the simple.
Yes.
It takes courage. You got to step up. If you're going to talk to someone that's morally deficient and you're going to try to give them prudence, you're going to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've got to have wisdom, because you're in essence trying to let them see that they're in wrong behavior.
Yeah.
So that takes courage.
Yeah.
Wisdom has to have courage as well, because you can't just be a passive person and just pat everybody and be codependent. I love you no matter what you do. No, that's not going to help them get to heaven.
That's right.
Peace loving.
Come on.
Then this is the word that really continues to blow me away out of all the wisdom. It says considerate. In heaven, there's a lot of consideration. Isn't that great? In heaven, it says out of one of the qualities that comes from heaven is consideration. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Think about that word. That's so cool. That's in heaven. What does it mean to be considerate? Can you be considerate of yourself?
No.
That's called
I mean,
selfish.
unfortunately, we're too considerate of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's selfish.
That's called
selfish.
Yeah.
But what do you have to have involved if you're considerate?
If you're considering someone,
Yeah.
you're thinking of what you would expect from this person,
Yes.
so that you can show that person that's how you have to behave.
Exactly.
That's right.
And you just paraphrase another scripture. Love
Consider others better than yourself.
others treat others the way you want to
Yeah.
be treated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so considerate means careful not to cause inconvenience or hurt to others.
Yeah, that's right.
Careful.
Also consider others better than yourself.
Yes. That's right. So that takes prayer. Because in our nature, we're it's like me first. It's just our sinful nature. Don't get upset with yourself. That's what we have to overcome. That's why Jesus said deny yourself.
Yeah.
Submissive. What's it mean to be submissive? This isn't just talking to women, it's talking to all of us. What's it mean?
I think it goes hand in hand with humility. It's willing to tuck yourself under instead of being the boss lady.
Okay, all right. Yes?
It's a willingness to be number two.
A willingness to be number two. That may be your role. I would say in the Bible, as you go, you're going to find yourself going back and forth between learning how to be great Jonathans or Timothys or Pauls and Davids, and in the female sense too.
Yeah.
And both roles are amazing, and it doesn't matter. You just got to surrender to God's issue.
Yes.
This is unusual to put it, but submission means sub. She takes under the water more times than going up in the air. So
You don't need to be seen.
You're under the water. So
You don't need the credit. That's good, bro. You may be the genius behind the man, but you're the one that but you don't need to go, hey, I'm the one who told him that. That's good, bro.
You're mostly under the water.
Yeah.
So submissive.
Anonymous.
Listen, submissive for all of us too is ready to conform to the authority or will of others.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's the way you would do it, but you're going to conform to it because God is the one allowing it. Full of mercy. What's it mean? You know, a lot of people would say you're full of something. It's going to go like this. You're so full of mercy.
You're so full
I love you so
Carmen comes up to me and I go, "You're so full of mercy."
Oh, come on, Carmen.
Not being quick to
I mean, that's a good thing to be full of. If someone's full of mercy, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Honey, Julia said something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, not being quick to judge.
Okay. And we never should judge, by the way.
Correct.
But then you go, well, how do we help each other? It goes back to being considerate.
Yeah.
The reason you're speaking up is because you care about the person and you're concerned they may hurt themselves, others, or their relationship with God.
Yep.
That's the only reason. It's not personal.
Right.
So it's not even like you're trying to, you even should go, I totally struggle with this and I can totally relate. I just want to know, I was really grateful for someone helping me and I care about you, bro. And that's why I'm talking.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you should always say, I care about you, and this is not easy, and I don't even, I love you. In my flesh, I don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Full of mercy. Compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm.
Mm-hmm.
So they deserve it, but you're going to go, I'm going to totally let it go. Good fruit. Anybody had any bad fruit? Anybody got some damaged, old, soggy, spoiled fruit? It's terrible. Flies all over it. It's terrible. You want a fresh piece of fruit? That's the way you want to be with God, with your heart. Impartial. That's a big one. What's impartial?
No
No favoritism.
That means, bro, if I'm with
sentimental.
Diego and he introduces me a friend that works with him that's from Puerto Rico, you're gonna like me as much as the Puerto Rican. I'm just playing with it. I'm just playing with it, but that's really what it means. Diego's awesome. I'm just kidding around. But you don't show favoritism just because you click. Doesn't mean you don't have a rapport. Like, whoa, you're from there, like South Africans. South Africans, you watch Son, you meet South Africans. It's like I'm out of the room. They love. It's a connection. Scotland too, probably. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to take their side to the fault of being deceitful because they're from wherever you are. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to be right and honest with everybody and show no bias.
Yeah, that's
Even
right.
with your own children. If your child's wrong, you're not going to be biased. You're going to protect them, but you're going to make sure they're not protected to a fault.
Yep.
If they need to own up when they're wrong. That's hard for parents to do.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another one to look at. Take all parts to make one whole.
Okay. All right, so now here we go.
I've been around too long.
This is a good one. Listen to this. We're coming from that. Sincere. Guys, the not homework, but just what I want you to do is study this out. If you just study out verse 17 and really ask God to help you develop these beautiful qualities.
That's good homework,
and
honey.
ask God for wisdom, because I don't have time to go to this, but James says, ask God if you lack wisdom.
Yeah.
James 1. This is wisdom. What does it mean to be sincere? Jen.
It's love the person for real, who they are, no matter what.
Can you kind of sense if someone's phony?
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, don't be quick, because they may be a different style or whatnot. You got to give it time, but if you can eventually, the proof is in the pudding. If someone's really not genuine and sincere, in time it will show itself.
Yeah. My mother has a saying, and she used to always teach us this. She says, son, look at a person in their face, in their eyes.
Yeah.
Listen to them for 5 minutes, and then pretty much will tell you who they are.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you could sense that point and that point. I still do it to this day.
That's good. That's really good. Also you'll show if someone's sincere is if it goes with who is wise and understanding among you. Let them show it by your life. If you're truly sincere, that means you care about them. That means you're going to be friends. Mm-hmm. That means you're going to be friends when they hurt you. That means you're going to be friends because you're always willing to realize that the friendships, there's nothing more valuable than working it out and forgiving because of Jesus. So sincerity in time will prove that you're not going. You're in this no matter what. And the person's even shocked sometimes that you're in this. It's not personal. You're trying to help that person, or they're trying to help you. What blows me away is when I've been some of my worst times and nothing and down and out. Some of my best friends, Chad's one of them, was there, and they were mainly giving. I was in a position where I couldn't give back. I was rendered in a hurt, and I'd almost be waiting for them just to, not like I thought they're gonna leave, but you know what I mean. It's just like you still. I'm not even, and then when you start getting a little better, you're like, what can I do for you? But it's like you feel like you owe them, but you don't, because they were there for you, even though you were no party to be around. When someone's hurting, you're gonna let them vent, you're gonna let them talk. It's mostly gonna be about their stuff, their issues, and that may be for a while.
Yeah.
And you need to pick the point where you got to try to get them better. But sometimes you realize, and when you're hurting, you don't realize you're the subject always. Only when you start to get a little better, you go, whoa, it's just been all about me, but these people have been in there. You know what I mean? It's not our fault. We can't help it, right?
Yeah.
But once you realize that, you go, wow, that's sincere. They didn't get nothing out of it. Actually, they got tired out. It was inconvenient. It was actually, I actually was sharp and disrespectful at times because I was angry. And they got the brunt of it and they still showed up. Usually I'm apologizing after I get better. I'm like, man, thank you so much for putting up with me. I'm so sorry. That's sincere, isn't it?
Thanks, Greg.
Would you guys believe that?
Yes.
That's wisdom, time. So, and then it says here, peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness. So the wisdom, those are all the ingredients for peacemaking.
Come on.
If you have wisdom, you're going to be able, as far as you're concerned, leave the arena or leave the table or leave the person at peace. Even if they don't want to make peace, you've done everything you can to try to make peace.
Yes.
That means you have no malice in your heart.
Yes.
So, two quotes. Tell me this is at the end. The fool wonders, the wise man asks. I don't even know who made that quote, but that's a quote I found. The fool wonders. I wonder. They don't get anything, they never come to a conclusion. The wise man asks. That takes humility.
Oh.
What about this? Only the wisest and the stupidest of men never change. Only the wisest and the stupidest of men never change. What do you think? And that was from Confucius, but there's some truth to that. Why would the wisest of men possibly never change?
Well, the wisest person will never change because he knows that, like, in his life, his wisdom helped him grow wiser. So he kept asking questions, he kept being humble, he kept being humility. So he never changed that. The fool never changed because he wasn't foolish enough to be. He's still foolish, but smart enough to know he needed to change. So that's a little different.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying, but you got to understand the wisest and the stupidest men never change. It's not a compliment for either one of them. So even what it's saying is there's an issue.
Oh, if you think you're a wise guy.
No, that means the guys that think they got it all down. There's nothing. They get to a point where I can't learn anything from anyone.
Know-it-all.
Yeah.
So Jesus says, "Come to me and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble." So the minute you say I've arrived, you're in trouble. You've just gone. You're starting to move into foolish territory.
The wise man sticks with the wise people. The dumb person sticks with the dumb people.
Right, but the wise man still changes.
Yes.
Because otherwise, you've actually become sinless.
So how do you really describe that guy Confucius is talking about? Self-righteous?
Yeah, well, I think
deceived.
Deceived.
But like, what's a word that could describe a person who thinks they know it all? I guess young kids.
Pride.
Prideful.
Arrogant. Pride blinds them both. Have you ever been around someone that's? It actually says that a fool is
wise in his own eyes.
Yeah, wise in his own eyes. But it says the sluggard thinks he's right, even though 7 of the most wisest men give him direction. Which means it's talking about a lazy person. A lazy person that doesn't change, they don't want to change no matter what you tell them. Could be an alcoholic. You ever, alcohol at the river of denial? Sometimes you could have these interventions. You ever watch those shows of like there's intervention?
Yeah.
They're around the guy. He's like his teeth are missing because he's been using meth so long. He has no clothes on. He has no job. He lives in an alley under a barrel. And yet everybody's crying and trying to tell him he needs help. And he's like, I don't have a problem. What are you talking about? I don't know what you people are doing. But, I mean, you can see that. That's how crazy it gets.
That's arrogance.
Yeah, but he's the stupidest of men because he's at the bottom of the barrel because his choices are stupid.
Yeah.
Now it could be addiction, but what I'm saying is, so both sides are. You can get to a point where you can't teach me. You won't say that, but you can just think you'll size people up right away.
Oh, yeah.
And that's wrong too. Everybody from the bum in the street to the head of a corporation, you should go, what can I learn? You may just learn, I don't want to become like that, so I'm going to learn by his mistakes. But you can learn.
Yes.
So that's the Bible talk. So good job on the acting, but guys, please meditate and study on James 3:17. It's chock full of advancing your life, and you'll be able to help your loved ones and people in your life if you ask God for these things. You're going to become more of an amazing impact on people. Where are we meeting on Sunday?
New church.
Genesis.
Yeah.
3400
Yeah, guys, it's Dr. Love Road. Just in case anybody when you tell them that, I know when you pull it up, sometimes it'll naturally give you a choice to drive or street.
Yeah.
So you can say 3411 Dr. Love Road, and that's right across the street, Lockhart Middle School. You could say that, but if you say 3400, just make sure you emphasize Dr. Love Road, because it gives you choices. Sometimes people aren't paying attention, and it'll pull up street or avenue. So you want to do that. So it's at 10:30. Let's try to be there at 10. We're having a lunch afterwards, a fundraiser lunch, which will be great. We'll be able to be inside if you get the food and fellowship with the air conditioning and fellowship with each other. Don't just sit next to the air conditioning. So guys, I love you. Let's just go after. Let's really try to be sharing. We're gonna have invites soon, but let's just be telling people. How can you not remember Dr. Love Road?
Dr. Love.
So let's have a prayer, guys, before we go. Dear Father, thank you so much for this time. It's just so fun and great. I love meeting together with my brothers and sisters and anybody that they bring, God. There's nothing more encouraging and pleasurable than to love people. Not only love our family of believers, but also to be willing to be able to have an opportunity to help someone else as we love them and find people that want to know what we've learned from you. Yes. Please, God, I pray that you bless us, help us to love people, help us to trust that you want us to help others find this incredible, incredible life that Jesus laid out by dying on the cross. We love you. Please help us get home safe. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Awesome.
Thank you, brother.